In every film, there are people who are overlooked. They are paid to do cool tricks, but each of them remains unknown. Such people are called stuntmen. Colt is one of them, and he's in love with Jody, who works as a cameraman. After finishing his work shift, Tom calls Colt to do a new take. He didn't like how Colt's face looked like a potato, but on this day, everything did not go according to plan. 18 months later, Colt's life changed dramatically. Jody tried to support, but he lacked the will and disappeared from her life, or so he thought. Late in the evening, producer Gail called him and offered him to return to work as a stuntman, but he hangs up and goes to his new job at Captain Cockatoo. One of the visitors recognizes him and calls him a tragedy, the worst failure in the world. This was the last straw, and he is considering Gail's proposal, especially when Jody becomes the new director. Tom Ryder advertisements are playing all over the city. He is a true star who assures fans that he personally performs all the stunts. After a while, Colt arrives at the filming site. The team scans his face to better map onto Ryder's face in the future. Colt wonders why the new director hasn't come to him yet to say hello, but he is distracted by Dan, the chief stunt coordinator. They are old friends with him. He explains that Colt's car is about to roll over. This scares Colt because he doesn't want to make a mistake right after returning. The duo arrives at the beach. Colt immediately touches the sand and did not like the structure of the sand, which is why he wants to reschedule the stunt until sunset. Dan is confident that Colt will succeed. However, after this phrase, Colt definitely doesn't want to do anything, because Dan decided to jinx it. But disgracing himself in front of Jody is much worse than death for him. During the recording, Colt's theory is confirmed. Because of the loose sand, the car jumps every now and then. He is ordered to drive as close to the camera as possible, but the braking distance was much longer than standard and he breaks the camera, after which the car overturns. Jody approaches the new driver to introduce himself, not even realizing it's a Colt. It turns out she didn't invite him to the shoot. An awkward conversation ensues between them, after which she asks Dan to bring a new stuntman, but they have no one except Colt. We'll have to work with Colt. Jody briefly explains the movie they're making. The plot of the film is incredibly similar to their relationship, which makes Colt feel sick. Jody sets Colt on fire, take after take. He understands that Jody is taking revenge on him, but he has to do his job. Late in the evening, he meets Gail. She has to admit that she lied and said that Jody invited him. Either way, Jody is happy to see him. She just doesn't show it. But the reason she invited Colt is completely different. Ryder is missing. He got mixed up with some very shady types. Colt suggests calling the police. But Gail can't do this. The studio finds out that it is way over budget and they will shut down production. Only Colt can find Ryder. Gail immediately gives the code to Ryder's house. To save Jody's film, Colt is willing to take risks. In the parking lot, he notices Jody, and the days they were together fly before his eyes. In the midst of his dreams, Jody approaches him. She sees that Colt has been crying and asks for forgiveness for setting him on fire over and over again. He even asks permission to sit in the front seat. Colt says that he is very sorry that he disappeared for a year and a half. He just couldn't find the right words to talk, but he swears that he will help her make the film. A little later, Colt arrives at Ryder's house. On one of the notes, there was a reasoning. Do they put tobacco in chicken? Props from past films are hung everywhere, when suddenly a woman with a katana attacks him. He's sure he's seen her before. The woman says that she plays the lead role in the film and is Ryder's girlfriend. Colt tries to explain that he is not a rider, but a stuntman. However, the woman still tries to kill him with a fake sword. She says that lately, Ryder has been paranoid that someone wants to kill him, while Colt is trying to shake out the glass shards, but it doesn't seem to end. Colt wonders where Ryder can be found. Iggy mentions the club. It's a neon night there today. Ryder always hangs out with a guy named Dune. Colt plays Ryder perfectly, so that no one even notices the substitution. Dune turned out to be a dealer. Colt immediately says that he is a stuntman. Dune offers him a drink, and after just one sip, his vision begins to blur. Colt immediately realized that he had been poisoned, which is why he went on the attack. Having knocked out the bandits, Colt runs after Dune. He tries to escape in a car, but this does not prevent Colt from jumping over the fence and standing on the roadway. Dune, frightened, says that he was paid by Ryder's head of security to drug him. It is located in a hotel, but the rooms are always different. There is only one problem. The effect of the substances in Colt's blood will not wear off soon, and he and the unicorn come to look for Kevin. By coincidence, Jody also lives here and notices Colt's strange behavior. But their conversation is interrupted by Gale, and Jody is taken away. Colt goes looking for Kevin, but the key card doesn't work. You have to go back to the reception and get a new card. However, even this does not work, and the steel shoulder comes into play. Under the watchful eye of the unicorn, Colt inspects the room. It was too late, and the man was already resting in the bath. He tells Gale this news. He's going to call the police, although Gale categorically forbids this. Luckily for Colt, the policeman is already here, but when they entered the room, the body was already gone. The next filming starts tomorrow. Colt tries to talk about the man, but the way Jody happily talks about his film forces him to remain silent and do what he does best, act in the film, and his relationship with Jody is clearly improving. Today ended in success, and the whole group decided to go to karaoke. Colt is also invited. During a break, Gale approaches him and wants him to fly away before the situation escalates. Colt can't fly away because he promised Jody to come to karaoke. Colt doesn't want Jody's dream to be ruined, and he decides to find Alma. Alma talks about the day Ryder disappeared, but she found Ryder's phone. There is real dirt inside, and she is ready to give up her phone for the position of producer, when suddenly they are knocked out and Alma is dragged away by scavengers. Taking a breath, Colt, along with a trained dog, rushes in pursuit. Dog inflicts critical damage. Colt is rammed by a car, tries to question the man, but he doesn't say anything. Another bandit wants to get the video, but even then the dog comes to the rescue. At this time, Gale tells Jody that she gave Colt the tickets and he is already flying home, although he's just cosplaying as a Silver Surfer and has a hard time getting into the tank. Alma tries to help him, but the tank, on the contrary, turns over and practically flattens them. Perhaps he acquired a super ability in the form of luck, because not only was he not injured, but his phone remained intact. He runs headlong to karaoke, but Jody has already left. He asks Dan to hack Ryder's phone. Dan replies that Wendy will help him with this. However, she calls this phone a safe. It will take about 3 days to break into it, or you just need to enter a password. Colt suggests that the password is on one of the sticky notes at Ryder's house. There are so many stickers here that he couldn't do it without Dan's help. A little later, Dan finds the password. In one of the videos, there was Ryder's new stand-in. He was lying in the bathtub. In the middle of the party, Ryder accidentally kills a stunt double and the video ends. At this time, armed people are parking on the street. The news is broadcasting news about a body being found. Colt became the main suspect. He was seen leaving the room. Colt tries to call Jody, but she doesn't notice the message. The duo notices a strange noise. They are arming themselves and preparing for defense. One of the bandits gets right through the phone. Having knocked out all the bandits and waited until the last one spent all the bullets, Colt orders to put down the weapon. Dan runs to catch the dog while the bandit grabs his gun and fires 3 shots. But he didn't even suspect that there were blank bullets inside. Colt is trying to hide on a nearby yacht, where Ryder was so happily vacationing. It was he who ordered these people to return his phone. Colt is not going to answer, otherwise he will be killed. Ryder then reveals that he never liked Colt trying to outshine him. It was he who set up the tragedy that caused Colt to break his back. Henry was the same. Gale found out about this and came up with a plan to save his reputation. Colt was scanned to prepare a deepfake of the murder, but the whole plan went downhill. Upon learning that the phone was destroyed, Colt is doused with gasoline. They even gave him a little something to drink, which was a big mistake. Colt breaks free and steals the boat, driving the boat backwards to the front. Hidden in the port, he calls Jody. He says that he used to consider himself a real star who does everything the director wants. But he realized that he was not immortal and left Jody's life because he was sure that she had fallen in love with another version of Colt. But he still loves her and hopes that she will have a happy ending. The bandits knock down the boat, causing a large explosion. Gale is informed of the certified mission, but he managed to escape at the very last moment. The signature video begins to be shown on television, clearing Ryder's reputation. Tomorrow, the mercenaries are coming to the set to find Dan. An alien sneaks into Jodie's trailer. She begins to beat him, but the alien shows a sign that only she knows. After all, it was Colt under the mask. He says that Ryder killed the stunt double. No one except her knows that he survived. He invites Jodie to finish the film with Ryder. Since her work is about to be completed, what if she inspires other people to become directors too? Which causes Jodie to kiss him, but they are interrupted by Gale. Colt puts on an alien suit and hides around the corner. After Gale has left, Jodie explains how the filming will work and remembers that Ryder constantly forgets to wear a microphone. This can be used to obtain a murder confession. In the midst of filming, Colt gets into the car to complete the final stunt. Dan had placed smoke bombs in advance to prevent the mercenaries from catching up with Colt. Ryder is not particularly smart and almost immediately confesses to the murder, bequeathing the phrase with his name. Gale, threatening with a pistol, takes all the records, but all the other stuntmen attack the mercenaries. To this noise, Ryder boards the helicopter and takes off. But Colt is ready to take the risk and jumps onto the helicopter, which causes the helicopter to spin. Colt takes the notes and jumps onto a previously prepared pillow. The film ends with Aquaman replacing Ryder in the film. Meanwhile, Colt and Jodie began their life together. We will be glad for your like and we'll be back very soon. Bye.